foreplay. Darling, I would follow you to Norway or anywhere you wanted, 'cause I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. One day, when we're getting wrinkly and our hair's grey, a rusty old banger in the driveway, one of us will maybe wear a toupee, but I will be in love with you.
Oh my goodness. You guys, we're here. Week 5 of the Public Speaking Academy. We are
VFX,
Oh.
máxima eficacia.
I think, what is this? But the ads was going. There we go. We have some people going high level. We have some people in full bloom. We have some people who are ready to rumble. This is good stuff. All right. So before I start with a recap of everything we're doing, and then we're gonna go into this week and learn more new cool stuff, just with the sake of raising your hands, who's ready to learn some cool new stuff that you can implement right here, right now, in everything you do. Amazing. All right. So before we do that, we always, Kristen is ready for it. She is going high level. I love it. Before we do that, we are going to do the thing that we always do the first training of every week. And that is that the stage is opened for some wins. Now, who would love to share a win? All right. A lot of people. Let's start with the person who has like combined with all of us still more energy by herself. Kristen, bring us home. What are we celebrating with you?
Holy smokes. Okay, I gotta get off the treadmill to catch my breath and talk to all of you. First of all, this girl right here named Lori, you are the biggest blessing. Oh, you're gonna make me cry again on the freaking earth. And I'm just so grateful that you came through my path at the time that you did, because we crushed it at Build Your Brand Live in Atlanta. And the breakthrough emotionally, spiritually, physically, verbally that was made was like literally brushing off the cobwebs of 20 freaking years. But it was like getting on a bicycle again. It was like getting right back on the bike. And the feeling, because we're all about feeling, is literally high level. It's amazing. And I just am so excited because this is literally just the very, very beginning. We just scratched the surface. And what's to come is nothing but high level. Let's freaking go.
Let's freaking go. Yes. And Kristen, I got so many DMs from people in this group, so please feel free to put it in the WhatsApp group. But there were so many people living with you over there, and they're like, okay, how did she do it? Tell us, update us, what happened? So maybe you can share a little bit about that as well.
Absolutely. So, you know, we were with Jen Gottlieb and Chris Winfield, 2 of 9 now dear friends. And Jen always talks about, you know what, when that little unicorn passes you by, you got to jump on it. And that's exactly what I did. He went live. He offered this opportunity of speaking with the stars. And the next day, I called my videographer. I started writing a speech that I didn't even know what I know now. I wish I would have known what I know now, but it's okay. I got it done. 2 weeks later, I had my stuff memorized and in me, and I submitted the audition. Fast forward, I made the top 6. Did I win? Yes. But I didn't get the trophy, but we don't care about that because I can go buy a trophy at the store. Who cares? And the experience of knowing that you just go. You don't have to have full confidence. It's 51% courage, just a little majority over 50%. That's all you need to just step in and just go and trust it. It doesn't matter. It's like the movie Speed. The bus is going forward no matter what. You can't get off. So are you going to get on the bus? Because the bus is going forward and it's always going to go forward. So it's up to you of whether or not you jump on that bus. You got to at least jump on to see where it's going. It may not lead anywhere, but it might. And in this case, it absolutely did. So we're on the bus. We're staying on the bus. That bus ain't stopping. But when the bus does stop, because it will stop for all of us at some point, you have to ask yourself, was I at least on the bus?
Yeah.
Don't miss those opportunities, you guys.
Wow.
Just go for it. Real quick, I will share this because it is very near and dear to my heart right now. My stepfather is actually in ICU right now. I don't have a really close relationship to him. However, I can reflect upon his life. This is someone who unfortunately did not get on the bus. He did not squeeze all the juice out of the lemon in his life. He did not capture opportunities that came across his way. And now it's too late. It's too late because the bus for him has stopped. So it's a constant reminder, you guys, we don't know when our last day is. We don't know when the bus is going to stop, but it's going to stop for all of us at some point. So just get on the bus and live the most full, amazing life that you possibly can. And don't be afraid of anything because nobody is you and nobody can do it like you. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Wow. Kristen, I think a really good thing to note is May 22nd, minute 4.5. If you're ever in self-doubt, then rewatch yourself. Because the congruency, the confidence, the clarity in your voice right now will so remind you in those moments that this is the Kristen who is on the bus. She's not only on the bus, she's steering the wheel. She knows exactly where she's going, even though it might not be completely light right in front of her. So beautiful, beautiful. And it was such a pleasure to be there. Absolutely freaking amazing. I'm so proud of you. And there were so many people, you guys, that were coming up to Kristen and, oh, you did so well. You did so well. And she freaking did. Absolutely, absolutely crushed it. Congratulations. Congratulations. Who else has a win to share? I saw Chris. I saw your hand waving before.
I was actually waving to Kristen, to be honest. You know, like.
Oh, no, you're on the spot. So you're on the spot now. So tell us, what can we
Oh
celebrate?
shit! Do I have a win? Did I tell the Indonesia thing? I didn't, I guess. Okay. I was reading a book of John Maxwell about leadership, and he said leaders have followers, but if you want to be a real leader, you have to train other leaders. Then you have a legacy. So one of my colleagues, she's from Indonesia, and she actually wants to return. And I was thinking, oh shit, then I lose her, and I lose this, and I lose that, so all the negative bits. And then I thought, oh no, I mentor her, let's change it. I say, when do you want to be there? I said 7 years. I say, make it 5. She said, why? I said, well, then my wife and I are still young enough to travel with you to Indonesia and to enjoy everything you set up there. But you know what? I will sell my whole program, or I will franchise my whole program to you but you do it in Indonesian, the language you understand best. So she will re-record the videos. We will translate the slides. She will sell my books, but they are still in English. So actually I'm franchising the whole thing to Indonesia in 5 years. And now we are preparing. So we are preparing, really making a plan for those 5 years, because she bought ground and she has to create a building, and she will create a big clinic there to help people that cannot afford it. So what the idea is that people from abroad fly into Indonesia and treat the people there for free. And it's all built on my courses and the system, because we have instant result with pain relief. Plug in the needles and pain is gone. And so that was actually, yeah, it's a win, but also a win for her. So that's cool.
Wow, I love this. I'm just gonna point at people from now on. It's like, was this a win? I'm not sure. I'm changing the trajectory of the whole world. I'm not sure if this is a win. Oh my gosh, Chris, it's freaking amazing! Freaking amazing! Oh my goodness! If we're talking one to many, spread your message. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, I'm gonna point at people now. This is awesome. Where we get the unexpected wins. Maybe those are even better. Flavi, what can we celebrate with you?
I starting already. So I had a friend who has decided to run a retreat in France this summer, and we had a very good discussion together just once. The connection was just amazing. And after she announced, okay, I have booked the hotel and so on, I just sent her a message, say, oh my God, the energy you had during your message was incredible. I loved it. And you're on the train. That's amazing. You will have your 8 people who are going to sign off. And that was all. There was no intention behind. And yesterday we were in a call together and said, do you mind if we have a call together by the end of the week to discuss about the retreat? I was, what for? Do you want to be a co-host? I was, oh my God. So yeah, I would love to have my first retreat with you in France. That would be amazing. So I was, okay, just from a genuine place, and just because I love the energy and just sharing it, spontaneously, you never know, from a community where it's going to change and impact. So I don't know where it's going to lead, but in a very good direction for the moment.
Yes. This is so awesome. You're combining finding clients and finding stages. Like, you just create your stage and got new clients in one genuine outreach. You see, this is the act of sharing. This is the act of giving back. This is the act of communicating from a real, true, authentic place. Like, this is not a skill that's just there to be on stage. The stage is everywhere. I honestly saw Kristen going about for 3 days, and the stage was not on stage. The stage was off stage. She created the stage everywhere she went to, right? And that's what you were all doing. This is freaking phenomenal. Oh my God. Okay, one more. Luke, you raised your hand. Bring it on.
Yeah, so little wins, but they all add up, right? So I just want to wear three very quick wins. So one is one-to-one. I normally do my discovery calls with new clients online, and I have all these like scripts and things that I can refer to. But I actually had a call, I actually had a visit with a client face to face, and because of the confidence and the grooving in of just having stories and just speaking authentically from the heart, I went in and I did what would be normally my sales script, which is very kind of scripted, just a conversation, and he signed as a client, so I have a new client. So that's the first thing. Then the second thing is a small group, which is I just recently joined Toastmasters and I did my tabletop topics. And I was using so many different tools and techniques that we learn here and that I've learned from other people by observation. And I got so much amazing feedback and I really enjoyed it. There was no kind of, oh no, I have to get up and I'm nervous. It was just pure 100% enjoyment from start to finish. No nerves or will I get it right, because it's just very natural. And then the third thing is I used to do Facebook Lives, but I kind of got out of the habit of it. And then the more time I don't do it, the more friction there is. And I just decided after the weekend that I'm just going to do one video every day. And so I've done one every day, and that's a bigger audience. And it's just speaking authentically. I don't overplan it. I just speak it. And again, I've had some really nice feedback of the impact just without overthinking it and just being myself, being authentic. And of course, using all the wonderful things that we're learning from you, Laurie. So thank you.
Oh my goody, but duties, this is incredible. It's like a Pandora box. It's like what comes out is like all these crazy wins, like franchise international, new clients, new confidence, new things, everything. This is incredible. Absolutely, absolutely incredible. And to jump on what you just said, Luke, also with the constant outreach, right? Because we started with the challenge of reaching out to 30 people who have stages. Right? Like who is 100% on track for those 30? Which would mean that you now have around like 20 people outreached. Couple of you. Who feels that they're succeeding in outreaching and with a new understanding looking at the world, and there's opportunities right in front of you that you were first not aware of. Yes, yes. So the 30 is a vehicle. The 30 is a vehicle, right? Is there to get you into the momentum of reaching out to people. And what Luke is doing now, which I completely congratulate, and I'm joining you. I actually decided that 2 days ago as well. So I'm going to do daily outreaches now as well. So let's, support each other. I saw you, Luke, you were wearing a white or a yellow shirt, and I didn't finish the whole video per se all the time, but were you top of mind again? Right? How many people watch a video on social media but don't like or don't comment, but they did see it? I'm one of those. I don't follow you, I don't like, I don't comment, but I watch you. And how many people are there like that? So when you do an event or a challenge or you have an offer that you share, all those people, all those hidden people are all watching you, all connecting to you, all in proximity with you. And then when you offer something, they're actually already ready because you primed them before. And that can be through consistency, what you're now doing, Luke, with the outreach. And what we're learning over the last, 4 weeks now, is also to increase the level of engagement and understand how people transition from a no to a yes by cumulative steps, right? By being clear and getting the science in order, going from the now to the new, but also through the art of storytelling, of using personal stories, of using all the 3 C's, all the 3 buckets in the whole conversation, just for the sake of repetition. What are those again? The 3 C's, the 3 buckets of what a story can be from.
Coolness, credibility, and community.
Whoa! We got the winners all over, and I saw some people typing. Kristen's like, you know what? I'm on a treadmill. I'm gonna shout it out. Beautiful. Credibility, community, and coolness. Dory, why is it so important to have them all 3 covered?
Just gonna unmute myself.
Perfect.
So people can relate to you and see you as a person, I guess. So it's more like you show up, you show that you have, friends and family and all of that. You show your coolness part, which is basically like, this is how people will remember you. You make it easier for them.
Yes. So brilliant. And it was so fun because the last 3 days I saw so many speakers, right? And in core, all the messaging, if you read all the development books in the world, go to all Tony's things, go all to these things, then the core is often the same, right? It's like, have a good mindset, be clear on what you want and do the thing. Right? And the way that's packaged is every time different because it comes from a different person, from a different energy, from different stories. So it hits you in a different point. You see different stories and then your imagination starts to wander, and you start to connect with your reality. So the coolness, credibility, and community is really to get people into your world and be attached to you as a person. Because if we look at offers, like how many speaking coaches are there in the world? Probably like hundreds of thousands, honestly. So many, and you're here, right? And the same with you. How many people do a little bit similar? And for some of you might be different, Chris, maybe for you it'd be different, but who else helps people with health, right? Who else helps people with finding their purpose? Everyone these days. So how are you going to stand out, right? An offer can be duplicable, if that's a word. You cannot, right? You are the unique factor. So let's really dive into that and own that part. Because the more you start to be comfortable showing that, showing your true authenticity, showing your real stories, your vulnerable part, your community, your coolness, these weird stuff that people don't know about you. And what I'm saying with the weird is more specific, is more unique, right? So people can have their picture in their mind's eye. That's what we talked about last week, that the sake of I like baking versus I make lava cake for my clients creates a whole different association, right? So what we are going to do today is we are going to reflect on the now. Last week, you had all the invitation of creating a video, and I saw a lot of videos. Some even this morning. I saw it. Well done. For everybody who's like, oh, shit, video, you have more opportunities. And we're going to watch some of them live together here, and we're going to evaluate them. And the reason why we do this is has a couple of reasons. And we're going to put the workbook in the chat in a minute, where you will have a framework of evaluation that you can go through. Now, the title of this is Evaluation Form for Yourself and Others. So what I would love, if you will see yourself on the screen, which there would be an opportunity, we're not going to watch every video that was added, but we're going to watch some of them. If it's you, then walk it through with yourself. Because the better you start to self-evaluate, the better you start to become. Because you record yourself and you can look through the different lenses that you learned and think, this is what I've done. This is what was working really well. And this is what could be improved. Does it make sense? Perfect. So we are not only going to do that for yourself, because, I mean, we're going to watch probably 3. You're going to do that for someone else as well. So you're going to look through and, okay, someone else is doing this. What is the science? What is the framework that we're going to use? And I'm going to share my screen. So you see what the feedback form looks like, and you see what elements you're going to focus on. So the first step is that we're going to look at the science. You're really dissecting the talk based on the factual stuff that you prepped before. In the now, what you're hearing, and we're now only focusing on the now, right? But later on, we will do that with a new as well, is what are the beliefs that you're hearing? Doesn't have to be that people are saying this specifically out loud, but what is the underlying beliefs that you're getting? What are the feelings? What are the primary question that people ask themselves? And what are 3 things that they do now? Why again, and I stop sharing my screen so I see your beautiful faces. Why again, is it 3 steps? Why am I so specific with those 3, and why don't I say action steps? Who would love to share that with a raise of hand? I will unmute you. Otherwise, I'm going to pick you. Soraya, what do you think? Why is it 3 steps?
Can you repeat the question? Because I didn't understand.
So we have the now, and in the now, we have the 3 action steps. When we are at the do, we have 1, 2, 3. What would be your guess is why is it 3 and not 20 or not 1?
Because if it's too many, people won't remember, I think.
Yeah.
And if like you rather have 3 impactful stories than too many, and then it's too confusing, and then people get lost, right?
Yes.
I guess. But
very good.
And if it's 1, and maybe if it's 1, it's not enough to relate. And when you have 3 examples, it's the perfect number, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like the brain just really loves the number 3. So I know that you have more to share, right? Because you're freaking incredible. I know that you can also find 1. My invitation would be pick 3. So when you are evaluating someone else, you're looking like, okay, what are the 3? Maybe it's just 1. It's like, this is the effect that it has. How interesting. Or this was a lot. Oh, this was interesting. So at the bottom of the page, you will also find the space where is written personal notes. So you can make some personal notes based on, okay, this is how I would have done it differently, or this was something really interesting that I want to give back to that other person. All with the intent, how can I and how can you grow so the next level will be even more impactful? I'm not saying the next level will actually be good. I'm saying how can the next level even be even more impactful, because it's all super freaking awesome because you created something, right? So then we are going to the art of the storytelling. You're going to dissect, okay, what categories were used? Was it a credibility story? Was it a community story? Was it the coolness story? Or were there multiple, right? You're going to look through the lens of, okay, now I start to apply this. This is how someone else done it. Interesting. You're going to think, were there transitions used? If so, was it a connecting sentence? Was it a connecting word? Or was someone mind reading? Then you're going to look through the engagement methods. We did not talk about this yet. Okay, so we're going to talk about that tomorrow. That's why it's a gray, but when you look through it, you can already guess what it could be about. Okay, so you don't have to do this for now. And then what are the stories that are used? If you would pull their story library open and read their story banks, their story library, the different stories, then what stories were they using? And then lastly, when we put the art and the science together, what is the magic that is created? How did you experience it? And this is very based on how you have experienced it. This is no right or wrong. This is just with the state of, okay, you create something for yourself and you have an idea how it will come across. Then you tell it, and then someone else might experience it totally differently, has totally different magic moments, connections, how they perceive it, right? So you write down the number and also the reason, and the reason is where the gold lies, right? Like, why do you choose this number? What resonated or what did not? Over your engagement level, how much you felt like, oh, I was completely there the whole time, and the transformation level, like how much did you learn, become someone new? And then last but not least, what did you love and what could be even better? So when you're looking through videos that I'm going to show you, from some of you who filled it in, you are going to fill in those forms. So we'll put the workbook in the chat so you're able to download them. And in the meantime, are there any questions to clarify what we're about to do? Any questions?
Hi, Lori.
Yay, hi.
I don't have a question about what do we need to do right now. I just have a question for you. If you could share a little bit more about transitions and examples of transitions that we can use for our speeches.
Yes. So there's 3 different kinds of transitions. There's a transition that's a specific word. There's transitions that are specific sentences. And then there's the art of mind reading. Right? So I will later share some specific videos of how that could be done and how you can really understand the specific steps and how you can apply that for yourself as well. Right? For now, I really want you to listen to the video and really fill in the board as best as possible with the intent of, okay, how can I understand the now, how it is right here, and how can I learn from it to upgrade it for the next step? Cool? All right, the workbook. Is it working, Noelle, to upload the workbook in the chat?
I'm trying. I had it there, but I don't know why I cannot put it here. I put it every week, but for some reason, this thing is not.
All right. I'm uploading
Okay,
it. This takes a bit. Soraya, what up?
No, I was exactly gonna say if you're gonna share the workbook, but it's perfect. I think it's being shared.
Yes.
Yeah, it's being shared, and I can also share it in the.
Sorry.
Do you want me to share it, Laurie?
Yeah, please do.
There we go.
Perfect. Super. It's in the chat and it's also in the WhatsApp group. So you can download the form. And then we're going to watch some videos of some amazing people who filled it in. Who's excited? Ooh, you're going to see your peers. Maybe you're going to see yourself. All right. Can I have a thumbs up if you downloaded the workbook?
Can I just ask a quick question, Laurie?
Of course.
Just for clarification, because if I'm thinking this, maybe someone else is thinking this.
Of course.
So, I mean, I guess I got to see Kristin's, but if you take us back to one of the previous examples we saw, I think, I forget the names of the two people who did the TED Talks, and we did that as an example. What would be a really brief overview if you picked one of those and you said what I would fill in for the now would be, for example, just so we have clarification of how to complete the now for a presentation we're about to see.
Yeah. So we've done this. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. So for example, one of the guys was Thijs. Thijs was the nerd who programmed, went to Africa, rainforests, Gabon, elephants. Rings a bell? Perfect. So if I would share my screen, then this was Thijs. And what the now was, is now people feel I am not equipped. I am not equipped. They are going, that's not where we are right now with the videos. I'm perfect and I can do something now. So the thoughts, the beliefs, everything that's going about is my skills are not enough to really change something. The world problems are too big to tackle. My contribution doesn't make a difference. And I don't know what I can do, right? So you're listening through the video and you're filling in what are the beliefs, what are the thoughts that I'm hearing. What I would love to do now, with your permission, is just start, because we might overcomplicate this in our head and really want to make it perfect, like what is just the thoughts, and it will flow when you listen to the videos. The only thing that I really want, and I need a pinky promise on this one, is the people that filled in these videos are freaking heroes, okay? They went in front of a camera, they did the best they could, and we are going to honor the bravery that they put in with these videos. And if you see yourself, know that you're giving yourself a really big gift, because you're getting a lot of feedback in how other people perceive it. And we're gonna share that feedback through the lens of, this is freaking amazing, this is what I learned, and this is what I can do even better. Cool? Can we do that? All right. So then the first person that I'm gonna bring up to the stage is an amazing woman. And this woman, she was a little nauseous last week. She was on a boat. She did everything she could to find some Wi-Fi. And she watched the replay. This morning, for God's sake, she made her video before this because she really wanted to make sure that she was going to watch the replay and do the assignment. So based on all that effort, we're going to watch you, Dory. So we're going to watch her now. You're going to look at the reflection book and we're going to fill it in together. While you're listening to her, you will going to fill it in for yourself, and then you're going to share your feedback. Okay? Ready? Are you ready for this, Dory? I see you typing in the chat. We're gonna share a lot of love with you today. There we go. Oh, I need to share my sound as well. There we go.
Okay, here is my now story. So I'm sitting in this Italian restaurant with my boyfriend, eating this delicious pizza, and I can hardly hold back my tears. Why would someone cry in an Italian restaurant eating pizza? That doesn't make sense. But it's not a pizza. The pizza is great. But unfortunately, I don't feel great. In fact, I feel very lost and just not good, I'm afraid. And I also feel like that something is very off And all I can think about is like, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel like this? What's going on really? So to give you a little bit of a context, I've been living at this time more than 6 years location independently, living together with my boyfriend. At this time we are in Mexico and having literally the dream. This was actually my dream a few years back. And what happened is that a few months before this scene in the restaurant, I decided that the current project that I was dedicating too much of my time is not really giving me the fulfillment that I really seek, and is also taking a lot of energy away from the coaching that I really wanted to pursue even more. This project was very dominant in the last few years. I was organizing these amazing experiences for online entrepreneurs all around the world. But it came to the point when I felt like it's time for me to leave. What I didn't realize is how much my identity was attached to this person who is running everything there, who is on stage, who is talking, who is hosting these amazing workshops. And I just asked myself after leaving, like, oh my God, like, who am I if I'm not this person? So as a high achiever, what I started to do is I was constantly thinking and trying to find the answers. Who am I if I'm not this? What do I need to do? Like trying to forcefully create and put all my efforts in my coaching and really make it successful and trying to get results as fast as possible so I can prove myself and my surrounding that yes, I am this new person who is even more successful in this. So there was a lot of pressure trying to really create this new me and to build everything. And because it was coming from this forced place, I felt like a fish who is swimming up against the stream because in his mind he thinks that that's where the sea is. So my mind was very occupied, and as a coach myself, I was asking myself a lot of questions and constantly analyzing what do I do, how I do it, and reflecting. And while I was busy with all of this, I really stopped doing everything that would give me joy in life. I stopped, for example, going to dancing, and I know that an amazing Cuban salsa party would have given me so much joy and would make me feel alive, but I was not doing it. I was just trying to solve this and thinking, and the more I was thinking, the less clarity I had, and the more doubts I started to have. And because of the doubts, I started to procrastinate and was literally stuck sometimes in indecision. So as you can imagine, it started to affect other areas of my life, including my relationships, my relationship with other people, and also with friends, but also with my boyfriend. And that's when I felt like this is rock bottom. And I knew that I need to ask for help. So I did a lot of different things. I did talk therapy, I did somatic work, and everything was pointing back to the same thing, that you are putting a lot of pressure on yourself and you are just thinking. You are overthinking and you are so stuck in your mind, which was a huge realization that I just need to stop and just stop thinking, let everything go, and pay attention to myself and actually allow myself to feel how I'm feeling, even if it's good or bad. I just need to let these emotions come up and not suppress them anymore. And there is a quote, and as a traveler, I can really relate to this, is that the longest journey you will ever take is that 18 inches from your mind back to your heart. And I think that was the time when I finally took this journey and I finally arrived back to my heart, from my mind, from my busy mind. And that's when I stopped really swimming up against that stream, which eventually led me to the sea that I've been looking for all along.
Please unmute and give Dory a big fat round of
It
applause.
was so
Amazing.
good, Dory. You
Yes.
had me. And with that
Yes.
kind of
Ah.
low voice that you
Chill.
make it go like this.
Woo. Yes. That was
Dory,
so-
amazing courage. Dory, amazing, authentic courage. That's what I see. I love it. I love it, girl.
Totally.
yeah. Dory, how,
Amazing job, and thank you for sharing your story.
yeah. How was it to watch yourself back, Dory?
Emotional and I don't like watching myself back, although I force myself. Not force myself, but after my keynote, I realized like how useful it is. So, but it's still hard. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for being so brave to record it. And now everybody saw it. And now we're gonna reflect on it, how you did it. Because who felt an emotion? If we go immediately through the magic, the transformation, who felt when Dory was feeling it? Even now, when she's sharing it, like literally right now, right? Who felt recognized by Dory using stories? Everyone. And let's dissect it for a moment. Let's zoom in into the most important thing. The worksheet is really to download it and to be aware of it. And now I just want to dissect it, not by going through the step by step, but just to ask you some questions. Who would love to be the person who's going to dissect the science? Luke, you were first.
Okay, awesome.
What
You
did
want
you
me to?
experience there? Yeah.
So I experienced a real, felt really connected to Dory, and I really felt her story in me, because what I got was she believed that something was wrong with her. She felt that what she's doing was not fulfilling her, and what I really associated with myself was that she felt her identity was tied to her work, and it was just overtaking her life, and she wasn't able to experience life the way she wanted to. And what was eluding her was what would really fill her heart up, which was to do her coaching, and that she felt always she needed to prove herself to herself. So that's what she believed. The feelings and questions, she felt afraid, she felt lost, she felt that something was off. She was asking, what's wrong with me? And who am I without this identity? So her heart was telling her that she needed to go for this coaching, but her head was saying, without this identity of this successful person, who will you be? You are nothing without this identity. And it felt very kind of painful. I really felt that emotion of being trapped in an identity that doesn't really make you fulfilled. In terms of doing, she's crying and eating pizza. There's a lot of really, really strong visualization, taking us on a journey. I could imagine her in this beautiful ristorante with some beautiful pizza, but she can't enjoy it because she's so upset. She's living the dream in Mexico with her partner. They've got this beautiful life, but it's just the life on the outside because it looks great. It looks like she's living the dream, but really it's a nightmare. And this dominant project that she has in her life, these experiences for entrepreneur, is defining her and just sucking the life out of this beautiful life she's created, is all being spent on this ambition and this identity that's not really her.
I'm going to pause here for a moment, Luke, because this is like a fountain of gold, and I really would love to use it. So first of all, big applause to Luke. The way you sometimes speak words, I'm like, how are sentences made in your brain? I want a piece of that. So what I'm hearing is a lot of confirmation. So Dory, for you, I would really go back to the replay and write down everything that Luke is saying and add this to your now. Right? Because this is from a perspective of someone else. And this is what you want to do for yours as well, right? In the beginning, we started with, this is the now, this is this one belief, this is this thought, and these are 3 actions. Just to make the ball roll, to let the ball rolling and not to overcomplicate, like you need to come up with 100. The words that Luke is using right now are probably a little different, Dory, than you would have wrote them down. So now it's like adding to that vault of vocabulary. What are different ways that you can tie it back to that and what specifically does Luke say right now? Like what's thoughts, the tie back from work to identity, I think that's a really, really strong one, right? So now you hear that from Luke, and this is how my brain works. I'm listening to, this is how you perceive it. Whoa, that's really smart. I think I could even put it even like a little bit more clear. So not only Luke gets this, but other people too, because it was not even my intent to make that connection. But now you get it, it's like, oh, that's a good one, right? So the beauty of this, and this is for everybody, and now specifically for Dory, is Dory, I would like make crazy ass notes on what it is that he is saying and how next time can I make that even more obvious through my stories. Does it make sense? So when
Yeah,
this
is really good. Like listening, it's really, really useful. And thanks, Luke. Like you put it in a really good way. It's very similar, to be honest, I have to say. Like he touched points and like almost exactly the words and the questions that I have, but I will add a few stuff there. So thank you.
Yeah. And that's the beauty. And who else, when Luke was sharing this, thought, that there's a lot of similarities on my own, right? That's the cool part, is probably your now and your new are quite similar. That's your offer. That's the transformation. The art is you. And that's where it starts to be different. So the beauty of understanding the science more and more and more is that you're going to add different thoughts to it. You're gonna have on some point like 100 thoughts, and then you're gonna bucket them. You're gonna select them. Like, what are the 3 most important ones? But you know, because you've done it so many times, that you can name different thoughts. Who else is this? And then you have different ones to pick from instead of naming the same over and over and over again. Does it make sense? You start to, and this is how I phrased it over and over again, you start to associate yourself more with a transformation. So when you are improvising, you just know what transformation you go through because you've practiced that science so many times. That's why we're doing this. All right, Luke, to finish it off, like what is the do? What is it in the do? The 3 points.
So I think the big do takeaway was this beautiful quote about the journey from the heart, from the mind to the heart is 18 inches, but it's the biggest one. And this was the summarization of the whole transformation. And I think that's where I really felt that Dory had found a way to make that journey inside so that the reflection on the outside was what she really wanted and she got what she wanted in life.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. And this is the cool part, right? So when I would ask the question, what 3 steps we're going through and what 3 steps are going to happen, it doesn't always have to be so super clear because again, it's an art, but it is a really interesting reflection point, right? So if I would ask that question, would it be easy for other people to answer that question? If yes, great. If not, that might be something interesting to look back upon. It's like, how can I make it even easier to spot right now? Does it make sense?
So sorry, Laurie. The 3 things I wrote for do was eating pizza crying, living in Mexico, the dream but the nightmare, and spending all my time on this dominant project.
Yes. Okay, cool. This is awesome. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's go to the art now. Let's really dive into the art piece because Luke, you combine them a little bit. That's cool. And that's the beauty of this because Dory was using so many amazing picture statements and stories that it was almost like, okay, they're everywhere. Who would love to dissect the art piece with me right here, right now? This is your moment. This is the stage. Sonia, would you like to do this with me?
Yes, absolutely. First and foremost, Dory, you did such an amazing job. I could feel you fully. I feel like I was there next to you as you were painting the picture of each story. Like I was there, I was in your heart, I was in your mind. I could relate to this story so much on so many different levels, and you did such an amazing job with that.
Yes. Absolutely. And you got touched, Sonia, and now we're going to understand why. Because there were different story pieces, like let's say the Lego blocks, right? If you look at the story library, you could make different stories. Those stories we could call Lego blocks. Like what Lego blocks of stories did you recognize, Sonia?
Lego blocks from very beginning. First one, the scene at the restaurant.
Yeah.
That was the big one because I feel like the way we open matters, it really drags the audience. Like they're here, they're next to us. And Dory, you nailed it, really, that part. And as you were sharing that story, I literally had I had a memory of something similar that happened to me in the past that I went through. Like that memory came through immediately.
Yeah. Who had that too? That whilst Dory was sharing a story, you had a story in your mind where you connected to. Super. So who also cried in a Mexican restaurant above food? One person, right? So this is the cool part. It doesn't have to be relatable to the exact story because you shared the story. Who had a moment there was food involved? More than one. See, so this is the cool part. So when you are talking about something specific, other people go through other parts in their brain where they store connections based on their own experiences. So because Dory, you were brave enough to say Mexico, was it like a specific pizza, right? I didn't even remember it right. That's interesting.
No, I just said I think like I was eating a delicious pizza. I didn't specify.
Yeah, so there were the scene was vivid. You could see the scene. And because people can see the scene, they could associate themselves with a moment that they remember and they can connect to that. So we have the scene from the beginning. What else did you notice, Sonia?
For me, like the most impactful was the contrast that she created. Like the most impactful, and going back and forth between, oh, this is how my life is, and it's so beautiful. It looks so beautiful on the outside, and I'm supposed to feel certain way, but I don't. This is what I feel. Instead, I feel like of fulfillment. I feel overwhelmed. I am overthinking everything, and I just don't feel good in my body, and I'm not feeling good about what I'm going through. So even Laurie, you used very specific examples. I feel like it, at least within me, it pulled all the stories I ever had, all the memories I ever had when I felt exactly the same way. And maybe it was a different circumstance or this or that, but it didn't matter. It gave me access to all of it.
Yes. Yeah. And I love that you use the word contrast. And that's going to be even more amplified when we start with the new. So the now is basically everything that happens now, the doubts, the fears. Like Dory is so, you articulated so well, like the space that you need to connect. And then that would be the moment where you connect to the new. And the new will be a moment where you're like, okay, but this is possible. And maybe in the new, because and maybe this gets a little specific right now, but bear with me over here. When Dory shares the now, she shares where she is now specifically. So the amazing parts, but how she doubts in that. The amazing parts, how she doubts in that. So it's really the now, it's the struggle. Then she goes to the new scenario, and then there's an opportunity. So now the opportunity also is allowed to have some doubt, right? Because you're bringing people from all the way here to all the way here. So now you have this new scenario. And in that new scenario, you can have moments of contrast as well. But overall, the big contrast is from the where you are now to where you are going. Does that make sense? Using Dory's example, right? She is going through what she's struggling with. And then later on, she's going to share that opportunity with hers. Like, this is how I've done it. And this is what it could look like now. That's beautiful. Contrast is the most important thing. Last thing, Sonia, what was something you noticed?
Also transitions she made.
Mm-hmm.
And the flow of the story was very nice. She led us, I guess you partially went to the now of this, not now, sorry, new of the story, with all the steps you took and all the work you did, and like all the somatic work and the breath work and all the steps you took to go back to your heart. And I really love the quote you used. It's just, I feel like you went full circle. You created that loop.
Yeah. That's beautiful. How is that to hear, Dory?
Yeah, thank you, Sonia, and Luke as well, and Laurie. I feel it's really nice to know that, first of all, that it's like that it's something that you listen and you get engaged and then it touches you. It took me some time to figure out which I wanted to start with a powerful one, and it took me some time to figure out because I didn't want it to go like chronological order or anything. So this was, I think, I feel like it was a good choice to go with the restaurant scene. And to be honest, the only thing I changed the real story was in Indian, but I felt like, but we were eating in Italian a lot of times, and I'm like, this specific occasion will be the Italian because everyone can relate to pizza more than to Indian. So that's the only thing actually that I changed, but I think it was a good change.
This is a funny part because Tony often said, like, I'm always honest. Sometimes when I tell stories, I allow myself some creativity to get to the goal that I want to get across. So if the goal is the transformation, it's not about like, is it perfectly correct? It's how is this going to get the transformation across? Okay, so you have that freedom, but make sure it feels authentic to you. That's the most important thing. And what I love what you're saying as well, Dory, which is a really, really important part. It's not about the chronological correctness of your whole story, right? And then it starts again with, what is the goal? Is the goal to bring your life story into awe? Or is it to use your personal Lego blocks to get an aim across? And that's what you did so well, because you chose different scenes. And what I'm going to invite you to, because this is the beauty of watching this whole talk, and I already feel, and if I can reflect this to you back, Dory, a different emotion to it. And the beauty of this is, what I would love to invite you is to watch it 3 times for yourself. One on full speed, like on 1x, the second on 1.5, and the third one on 2. And the reason for that is, at some point you start to really, really associate yourself with the story, and you start to stand above it because your brain cannot cope with the 2x speed. So you're just listening to it, and your own story becomes more normalized. And when you do that, you start to be more above the stories, and you start to see, oh, how can I, because now we're starting to play around, right? You have the scene of the beginning. If we just zoom into that scene and zoom in, and you go through all the things you learned about storytelling, what are things specifically how you can upgrade that story, right? And then we zoom out again, and then we go to the next piece. Another scene, let's go into this. Okay, now transition time, let's zoom into this. And now it becomes a dance. Do we start to see this? But do we see that you need a video first to create, to absorb, to analyze? And that is really hard to do this all in once and create this perfect scenario, right? So my invitation for all of you is going to be to record a new video. We're going to do that tomorrow. You're going to learn something new. You're going to learn a specific thing about engagement, how you can keep the engagement of the audience in the full length of your talk, totally all the time. And then you're gonna record a new version. And if you didn't do it before and you feel like you want to kind of download it out, just do it today. Doesn't matter, right? If you didn't do it, totally cool. You know, it's your process. So for everybody who already watched the videos, watch yourself back and put the reflection form on yourself and see, okay, what did I do absolutely freaking phenomenal? Number 1 is I did it. Number 2, 3, and 4, there's so many things that you did absolutely amazing. Second is, when I looked at Dory's and what we talked about and how I experienced her and how we've been through all these classes and looking through all the pieces of evaluation, what could I improve? What could I improve? And start to really associate yourself with that. So, for the people already recorded, watch yourself back and evaluate yourself. Watch it back on 1 speed, 1.5 and 2. That really helps you to stand above it. For the people who didn't record it yet, but would love to do that before tomorrow, the place is open, right? Upload it in the drive. And then tomorrow, we're going to look at how can you engage people even more. And then you have a new opportunity to create a video. And then next week, we will dive into that and analyze that. Cool?
Can I have a question, Laurie?
Yes, you can.
I'm just curious to hear either from you or from someone from the group is like, did you feel that I touched point on all the 3 C's, like the credibility, the community, and the coolness part?
This is a good one. Who would like to answer that? Noelle. You're on
You're
mute.
muted.
You touch the coolness really well and the credibility really well in the community. Yes, the proximity to your boyfriend, but maybe in community, you could go a little bit deeper. That's my feeling. I absolutely loved it. You rocked it. I was like this. And I think the community, maybe you could go deeper. That's my thought.
Yeah. And you did it very smart because you said, like, as a traveler, this actually really rings a bell. So you were using different ways of incorporating different puzzle pieces in very short amount of time. So you did that very elegantly. And now, and that's the beauty, because you created it, now you analyzed it, now you know it, now you can look through the lens. Okay, when I look through this next time, how can I upgrade my 3 levels? And then that's going to be your lens. And then the next time you watch it is, how can I improve my storytelling? Then the next one is, how can I improve the transition? Next time, how can I use the engagement, right? So it becomes like one step at a time. And maybe this is going to be the one for you because it came up for you.
Thank you.
Super. Italian is more romantic. I love it. All right. So before we go, let's give the floor to Monica and tap it out, because there was a lot, you know, like a lot is happening. And before it was very systemized and step by step. And now it becomes a little bit more fluid, right? Everybody has different stories. Everybody has a different way of using the framework. So now also more stuff comes up probably in your mind. And that's why we have Monica. So let's give some space to that.
Woo! Good job, Dory, and good job, all of the evaluations. Woo! So there's a few things that I felt coming up. One of them is actually getting feedback, which most of us view as judgment. So I'm going to work on that a little bit today. And then also some of the things that I heard you say, Dory, I hate watching myself, and the deep question, what's wrong with me? So how many of us hate watching ourselves and always wonder what's wrong with me? Okay, good. We're all human. Yeah. So that's one of Tony Robbins' most important questions that comes up. What's wrong with me? So these are the questions that we ask ourselves, and we're here to be impact makers, and we're here to be transformational speakers. And in the face of this is that there is this experience, and we'll talk about this in our training in the end of this month, is what I call the chair. Is that when we get up to speak, we're going to get the chair. We might be criticized. We might be humiliated, we might feel abandoned, we might be ignored, or we might feel rejected. And anytime there's an evaluation and a piece of paper and somebody gets to judge us, or somebody gets to give some of their opinion, what if it's possible that this is awesome and it's epic and it's so great to be able to hear what other people say, because it's feedback. And if our goal is transformation, then feedback is our fastest path to growth. So allowing the fears that come with being evaluated in little forms and pieces of paper, and fill this in and give your opinion, and allowing all the times that we've had that happen, and you get the little sad face, or you get the happy face and the star on the report from the teacher in the school, or from the audiences you've spoken in front of already, and allowing all of those to leave your body and leave your field, because that was then. And this is now. And you're here to make impact, and you're here to make a difference in the world. And other people's thoughts and opinions about you are only here for you getting better and clearer, and your message getting better and clearer, and your delivery getting more and more engaging, allowing more and more emotions from yourself, as well as eliciting them from your audience. So even though most of us hate seeing ourselves, and as a voice coach, I know almost everybody hates hearing their recorded voice. What if it's possible that we can allow those fears to go too? I'm tapping on here, I got a little bit of a different order today. Is that what if it's possible that we get to actually see ourselves, and we get to hear ourselves the way other people do, and we get to get out of ourselves and out of our spotlight and go, this is how people see me. And what if it's amazing that when I have an open heart and I'm reflecting to them, they're actually seeing themselves, and they're seeing their own pizza, and they're seeing their own restaurant, and they're seeing their own experience, and they're actually including me with them. It's a very different way of being a speaker. to realize that they're seeing their own pictures in their own head. And what if you don't have to hate seeing yourself? What if you don't have to hate hearing yourself? What if you actually get the connection that you're creating, being honest and being real and telling your story, and knowing we can always get better, knowing that we can always improve in our delivery and our message, and knowing that all these little moving parts that feel like they're just a ton of moving parts that Lori's teaching right now, what if it's possible that they're all going to land and they're all going to be available and they're all going to be second nature by practicing them? These are steps that we all get to keep working on because we're working towards mastery, not just learning information. So giving yourselves just a little bit of a breath and going like, oh my God, what was my new and what's my now? And wait, did I do that? What was my transition? And knowing Lori's got this designed, and knowing that this is going to land, and knowing that this will become yours. Whew. And then just taking a breath and having the gratitude. You get to share with an amazing group like this, an amazing space that Lori creates, and you guys are all now co-creating. You get to tell your stories, understand how human we all are, understand how much being human is needed right now, for the message you're here to share, for the lives you're here to touch, and that you're here to learn and you're here to grow and you're here to practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. So that the message that you're here to share, the impact you're here to make, the transformation you're here to create, gets to be, there you go, the legacy that you get to leave. We're on the bus, people. We're on the bus. Thank you for getting on this bus. It's been fun sharing the ride with you. And back to you, Lori.
It is a journey, yeah? And it's accumulation of different elements. 5 weeks on the go, 3.5 to go. We're just getting started. And with that said, let's record that moment. Let's jump off and record a video, share it in a WhatsApp group of the biggest breakthrough aha moment of anything that came up with you today, and share it in the group. So you keep track of your own process, because it's a bumpy ride. And that's the joy. That's the fun part. And what Monica was already priming for is Monica's going to do the bonus training in, I believe, 1.5 weeks. You're in for a treat. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Make sure you're there on Friday. I think it's going to be 3 hours. And it's going to be tying back to everything that you already have been working on. Is it the 31st? I believe so, Monica.
31st. Yeah, May 31st at 8 a.m.
Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific.
Yeah. So with that said, record that video, share it in the WhatsApp group. Tomorrow, same time, same link, same group. If you already created your video, absolutely freaking amazing. If you want to watch yourself, evaluate yourself, this is your time. If you did not create your video yet, this is a really cool opportunity to still create it, to still upload it, because next time we're going to create a new one. And it would be really amazing if you can see your own progress by actually uploading the videos. Cool? All right. See you all tomorrow, you awesome people.
Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.